Okay, so we started this painting a few days ago. We started with gessoing the canvas and applying this sketch of just this wagon and horse. And then we've got the first color layers on. So now we're going to go ahead and, it's not completely dry, but it's pretty tacky, so that's good. It's almost completely dry. So now we want to do a couple things. We want to put a little more highlight up here in the sky, I think. Maybe not. Maybe just a little bit. Just to pull a couple of clouds out this way a little bit. And then later we're going to lighten this road, but we want to do the wheels first. So we're going to do the wagon. And so when doing these, painting over these underpaintings like this, you know, you want to make sure that you apply the coat, the paint, in a couple of different ways. The main thing is creating a mid-tone. So the mid-tone is going to be just straight out of the tube, cerulean blue. Then we've mixed, for a darker color, we've mixed cerulean blue. We took that cerulean blue and mixed it with just a touch of ultramarine blue to make it darker. And then we've added just a touch of titanium white to make it a little bit lighter in the lighter places. And then in the end, we'll have some really bright highlights, but whether we apply those today or not is something else. So we're going to work primarily on the wagon. We might get a chance to get to the horse. I don't know. I have company coming today, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll just continue on, though. Hey, guys. All right, so let's get to it. So I've got these three tones. So the first thing we want to do, though, is we want to oil down the work area. I don't need to do the whole painting, and I don't need a lot of medium. So what I'm going to do is I put a little bit of medium on this brush. I'm just going to wipe it on this towel. You don't want the canvas like super wet at all, not at all. So we'll just put this in. Then we'll take a bunch of it back off. Because even though I wiped the brush out, you're still going to pick up more paint than I want. And we're going to glaze over this. So if you've not seen glazing before, you will in a minute. Because what we want to do is we start to put this glaze in, is we want to make sure that we have all of we want the underpainting to show through. We did a lot of work on that, so I'm going to make use of that. I think we'll work on these wheels a little bit too. We'll see. All right. We may add a little bit more medium to that when we get to that point. Now, for those of you joining me for the first time, or maybe you haven't joined recently, I'm working with a torn rotator cuff in my arm, so I can only paint for as long as I can paint, and then I gotta stop and rest a little bit. So we'll get as far as we can today. This will get posted on Facebook, so you can go back and see it, and then we'll just continue. We'll make sure that we continue on with that. So now we're just kind of wiping back a bunch of this medium. So I don't want the canvas to be very wet at all. And then kind of moving it around like in the wheels there, kind of spreading it out. And of course you can't ever wipe it all off, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that too much. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Bruce. Bruce, you're up early. How are things in California today, my friend? Any good news on the horizon? All right, I'm going to move to a flat. I'm going to use this relative. It doesn't really matter what size flat you use. I mean, I have a bunch of different ones. It doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable with it. Probably in these areas here, these wider areas, I'll try to use this brush, but by and large, I'm going to use probably this brush for the smaller areas. All right, so let's put the mid-tone on first. So I'm putting the mid-tone on, which is just straight cerulean blue. Let's load this brush up a little bit. I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to load the brush about like that. So there's not a lot of paint in there. Not great. I'm sorry to hear it, man. Hey, Jason. Jason, my friend Jason. I haven't seen you in a long time, buddy. How are you? All right, so let's just kind of put this mid-tone on here. We're going to cover the whole wagon in a mid-tone. Be careful not to put so much paint on that we start to cover up that all that pretty underpainting work. This brush is a little too soft, I think. Now we're going to do a whole series of underpainting techniques. Here, probably, I don't know, in the next week probably we'll try to get it done. So if you guys are interested in how this Bernay underpainting style goes, just hang on, it's coming. Yeah, my shoulder's giving me some trouble already. I haven't just barely got started. So the one thing that's causing my trouble, I have a tendon that's slipping, it's getting stuck on the bone in there, and so then it's slipping over. And it makes this popping. And the more popping that it makes, the worse it gets. All right, I'm going to switch to another brush. I don't like that one. It's not stiff enough for my messed up hand. Let's go to something like this might work. This is about the same size. This is just a different. This is a goat hair brush, so it's not quite as soft as that synthetic brush. There we go. That's looking better. That's going better. So now I'm kind of spreading this paint out pretty good because I want it to be thin. It's just a glaze over the top of what we've already got. Now, the next part we will start adding the darks. And then this wagon's going to really start taking shape at that point. You can be kind of loose with this stroke. You don't have to really kind of... You might notice I just switched hands. Last week my shoulder was doing really well, so they gave me some new exercises, and now it's doing not so good. All right. That's coming along. So we want this. If you guys have any questions, put them up there. I'll be glad to answer them. And speaking of that, I'll look at that in just a second, guys. Hey, Aaron. I like. Well, the original photo was blue. The Volkswagen was also blue. So cerulean, I just kind of like the cerulean blue. It matched. It was a perfect match to the color of what I was trying to paint. All right, let's start to do some of the darks now. So let's start. Let's see where we want them all to go. We're gonna have some dark. So this is just blue as well. Of course, there'll be other darks added to this as we go. But, well, that doesn't go there. Let me pick some of that back off real quick. This is a highlight area. There we go. There we go. That's better. And this is a little bit of a highlight area right here. So that's okay. All right, then we got most of this dark is on this side of the wagon because the sun's over yonder. I have found, though, Amy, that paintings that have a lot of blue in them for whatever reason. People really like those. They tend to buy those more. Volkswagen painting, I thought was, the lady said she wanted it, but then I never heard from her again, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I just keep painting. All right. All of this is going to be sort of a black color. It won't be black. We'll make it. We'll make a black to make that go. But I think for now, let's just We'll just leave it go. We'll just leave it for now. Let's just stick to the wagon for right now. The upper part of the wagon. So we'll bring some of this blue in here. We'll blacken it out later a little bit. So this helps us kind of. So next week, I'll start working on doing some of these. I'll need a smaller brush for that. So on some of these underpaintings, I'll do a little course on that. Maybe I'll do like a couple, 2 or 3 paintings with different types of underpaintings. Not different types, but different topics, different subjects for the underpainting. Let's see if you guys like that. See how you like those. See if we get any comments on those. But we may not have to use. That'll be all right, I guess. All right, so let's get kind of. A little more paint. Can't paint without paint. And down this side. Now when you're loading these flats, make sure you really bring that thing to an edge when you get it. All right. Start working on these wheels just a little bit. These have a lot of dark in them. Okay. These have a lot of dark in them. So let's kind of go ahead and get as long as we get the darks out here. And we'll come back and do the spokes. We may do the spokes in another session because they're quite different than most spokes that I've done in the past. So it might be interesting to just cover that topic all by itself. This guy here is actually more of a mid-tone wheel instead of a dark wheel. So we'll add some more light to this and some more dark actually too. All right, let's stop for that for a minute and let's do some blending. Okay. I'll do a thing on that, Amy, and hopefully that'll help you out some. All right. Nothing like taking a wet brush right up to you. Tell which brushes I like the most and pick them up when they're still wet. All right, let's do this one. So now we're just blending this. All right, let's start adding some highlights now. So we're going to shift. Let me clean. I'm not going to clean the brush. I'm just going to wipe it out as soon as I find my napkin. Here we go. All right. So we're going to stick to this flat. Now these are not like the real sparkly highlights. These are just some highlights. These. And again, this is just a glaze. Let that undertone still kind of show through. Don't want to lose your image down there. All right. Where's this one? Alright, get some light on this wheel. I could have some color there, so let me wipe that out. Go back, try this again. There we go. So a little bit of highlight right here on this corner. And then we got some highlight around this base. Alright, we got a little bit of highlight right here. We got a nice strong highlight right here on this wheel. And it goes about halfway around. So I'm facing the outside of the wheel on this side. And then another strong highlight over here. I think it crosses over to the inside. And that's going to go to a mid-tone over here. I'll clean some of this up in just a second. Got a little rambunctious right there. That's okay. Nothing to wet with paint that you can't fix. So, all right, that's dark. Okay, let's blend all that. Hey, Kelly. How are you, Kelly? I told you I tried to do a live here, like when it was like normal time here where you live. All right, let's get a Q-tip here. There we go. That's better. All right. Okay, let's see. Let's get. I think we need some more. Looking at this, let's get. What is that doing over there? want a little bit more of this mid-tone. Yes. Yeah, I like that better. But now I need more paint. I hope hope it's not too bad. It's all this quarantine stuff where you live, but it's a little crazy here. There we go. Now, I'm going to put some of this mid-tone on over this color here that's eventually going to be red, but over the stop sign, because I don't want to create a hollow spot there. A halo spot, not a hollow spot. All right, let's do, before we go any much farther with that, that's sizing up pretty good, but let's do a little bit of a sanity check here. So let's add some darks, some darks. So some really darks, and clean up the stop sign. And then we'll play those two colors against each other, and then we'll go back and maybe work on the wheels some more. Sounds like a plan. All right, where's my little angle brush? Where are you? Oh well, if I can't find you, I'll use something different. Oh, here it is. This is not the best one I have, but this will do. All right, so now we're going to add some really darks in here. And then we'll come back and put some highlights on top of that. These two are just glazing. We're using the shadows that are under there to kind of, I don't want to lose the text, the context of the underpainting, because I'll need that when I start to put the highlights back in over the top of this really, really dark color. So this is ivory black. No medium. We still got no medium. We got medium on the canvas, but we don't have medium on the brush. Let's just kind of blend all that. Again, we want to keep the underpainting showing through. I'm going to highlight some of this dark in a minute too. It still needs to be highlighted, even though it's dark. All right. Let's see. So earlier, in applying the dark blue, I went a little too far with the color. So we're going to have to take the color back off. Right here, in this corner. This should be mid-tone, not really dark. Let's get the there we go. All right, and some highlight colors around this window. Just a little, not any really shiny brights or anything like that. All right, so let's blend that. It's kind of removing the brush strokes. Keep it all nice and soft. Alright, let's do, as long as we got this out, let's just do the highlight. Just checking to see if anybody else had anything to say. I'll keep checking. Alright. So now we're going to kind of use a little bit of a neutral gray. Something not too much. So as we move toward the bottom, we're kind of letting that kind of run out. Let me check it again. We still got some stuff on the bottom here we still need to do. Keep all this really loose. Back to the dark. So we're switching back and forth between lights and darks. We'll come back and fix that wheel in a second. A little more shadow under here. There we go. All right. Clean this brush. And we'll start working on. I think we'll just do the wheels because they're bugging me. I'm trying to figure out which ones are which. So let's try that. Let me look at the far wheel. The far wheel is kind of a grayish blue. It's because of the way it sits. So we'll just kind of now I'm looking at the spokes. So I drew these spokes in like wire spokes, but they're not really like that. I knew when I was going in I was going to paint the dark on the light part of the spoke and the light to the opposite side. So that way I just didn't have to draw all that small detail in like that. So that looks pretty good. Alright, so that something new I wanted to try. It worked out okay. Alright, so coming around this wheel, this gets darker and darker and darker. Coming around until it starts to get lighter. There we go. Alright, same thing here. We got a light spoke and a dark spoke, except I painted over some of those spokes with green for the field. I think that needs to be a little lighter than that though. Let's go with something. Let's try this. I'm kind of used to drawing spokes from doing my summer girl painting. It's always nice to go back and kind of check, so I did that this morning just to kind of refresh my memory. Because there's always a point where the spokes start to change what side the highlight's on. So it's always nice to just kind of check it and see. Now, I purposely didn't put any medium out here on these wheels because I didn't want it to be slick when I got out here today working on it. So now here I can completely use the underpainting to pretty much lay in the spokes. Not completely, but pretty much. that got a little wide. I'll have to go back and touch that one back up. They gave me this new therapy thing for my shoulder where I have to like hold a 1 pound ball and drop it and catch it. Like hold it like this and drop it and catch it. Sorry. Drop it and catch it 15 times. Like you're going to try to hold your hand under it, right? Because I don't think my hands are that fast. But they work out okay. Alright, I'm getting pretty happy with this wheel over here. Except we need to add another facing layer of dark to this. There we go. Alright. And that finishes that wheel. Let's clean the paint out of the brush just for the good of it. Oh, thank you. I think they're, I kind of tried to think them through before Okay, so this wheel over here has got quite a highlight, a really bright highlight. You don't have to put all these highlights on. You can wait a day with these underpaintings and put them on afterwards. Nothing wrong with doing that. All right, then we've got like a layer of blue like this, and then all right. So down here a little bit farther, it starts to darken up like that. And then on this side it's dark. Until it's not. All right, so here we've got this brightness like this, right? And we've got a mid-tone blue coming up against the wagon like that. But then, and this is where it gets tricky a little bit. Sometimes it'll throw you off. At least it throws me off sometimes. We've got a dark side showing through on this side, all the way around. And then sort of a brownish blue as it comes around through the facing. Needs to be a little darker than that. Oh, okay. And this adds the third dimension to that wheel and keeps it from looking flat. There we go. All right, now let me clean the brush. Make it nice and dry. And then we're just going to kind of blend this a little bit. Just barely touching it. Barely touching it. And since you're moving from dark to light, you got to kind of keep your brush clean. All right. Okay, that brings us to, we can spoke these wheels, so let's do it. Now, these wheels over here, we kind of use white and blue. Over here, we're going to use kind of blue and black because they're in shadow. So we're going to use the mid-tone blue. We could use mid-tone blue. Let's see. Let's put the mid-tone blue in. Of course, over here it looks darker, right? It looks brighter. Make sure you keep plenty of paint in your brush. And you're trying to keep it right on the edge, so you're gonna have to keep reloading. And that's okay. You could probably do this with a script liner. You don't have to do it with the same brush I'm doing it. The script liner probably works just as good. This is a little more comfortable with my arm down. I'll be so glad when I'm through all that. All right, now a few more. Okay, now let's add, instead of, all right, let's do a couple things. Let's start off with black, and we use black up against this blue, painting right next to the line we just put in. Maybe a little shadow right there. All right. My hand's not squiggly enough, but, or, well, I guess it's squiggly enough. It's not steady enough, but it's okay. Now, let me clean. I'm just going to wipe the brush. I'm not going to actually clean it. I'm just going to wipe it off. We're going to go back to this blue that we had earlier, this really dark blue, and kind of add that here. All right. Okay, so that brings us to that wheel and its spokes. Let me look at all of its spokes are black. So we'll just, all right, well, no, that's not true. All right, well, yeah, they're black, but they have a highlight on them. So let me kind of put these in here. I think what we're going to do today is we're going to finish the wagon part. And then I think we're going to let that set, and then we're going to come back tomorrow and do the horse and add the highlights to the sky. So you guys, since we're all on restriction, you should have plenty of time to watch if you want to. All right, now let's add a little bit of details to this wheel because it needs it. All right, so let's add, first of all, let's add the highlight. So we got a highlight right here. And we got some highlight on the inside of the wheel. And that's a little too much paint there, Benjamin. Wipe it off. Let's just clean it up. There we go. That worked. All right. And I think this one looks a little too pointy. There we go. That looks better. So we're going to blend that before we get done. But all right. So these spokes, this has got that outline all the way down. The spokes, the light color is on the top on this side. It's like working on a fence post. Don't let the spokes intimidate you. All right, now the spoke is going to change size. The more of these you do, the more a really good place to practice this stuff is get you a picture of a wagon wheel, just any wagon wheel. It's only got like, I don't know, 8 spokes in it or something like that. Just get that and practice it with that. All right. So right along in here, we're going to kind of start to blend in some darkness. Leave that blue of the wheel there so that it's nice and round. All right. We're getting there. Let's clean this off. All we're really doing is kind of smoothing brush strokes out a little bit, just a tiny bit. And we need another of those really white highlights back here on the back wheel to make it match up with that one. that. Maybe a little bit more over here too. So now we're just kind of making it all kind of start to match up a little bit. Yeah, seems like there should be some highlight right here. So what I'm kind of doing, I'm looking at the reference photo, but I'm only using it to check myself. Say, oh, this is where I think it goes, and then see if it does. All right, let's add a couple more little things here. We've got a floorboard in here that we can see, so let's put that in. Right there. We've got that highlight down. There's another highlight right here where this board's coming back. It's very subtle though, it's very subtle. Highlight doesn't necessarily mean highlight, it means some highlight. All right, and then we got some brighter highlight, like this kind of there. My brush is so loaded with paint. All right. That. I want a little bit more. Just to lighten up some. So I'm just kind of picking up this paint I just took off my brush and putting it back up here. And I'm just kind of blending it myself. All right. This is dark, like really dark like this in the reference photo, but I don't like the way that looks. So I'm just going to kind of take a little artistic license here, kind of make this a little bit lighter. Make those boards look more boardy, which means I need to add I need a dark here. I need some dark right here. All right. Yeah, I'm looking off a picture. Okay, we're not done with the cart yet, but we're getting close. Let's clean this stop sign off. And then let's just kind of do this. Yeah, I'm working off of a reference photo that I took down in Loretto. Now, the difference is there was no country road. There was just an asphalt road. But we're just cutting this outline in here before we start coloring this in. We probably could have done this last. It wouldn't have made any difference. All right. I need a touch of alizarin crimson. So I'm going to clean the brush off. And some bright red together. So the same colors I used yesterday for some flowers. And let's just kind of the way these signs are done, there's like a red outline like this. And there's a brighter outline. There's a brighter outline that goes in the middle, and then we'll blend it. Okay, now I want to make a brighter red, but I don't want it to be pink. So, and then if you add white, that's what you're going to get to red, right? So instead of adding, I'm just going to move up the scale from red to orange, to cat orange, which is brighter than red, but it won't give me a pink, it'll give me like a reddish orange. All right. I think I'd use a little more red to that. Now again, we have not tried to create like super sharp lines in this painting. It's not the goal of this. So. Add a little more orange to that. Alright, now let's cut it in with some crimson. Looks pretty close. This probably needs to be a little wide, closer to the bottom than the way they have it. There we go. Now they really fought having to put those on down here, but they made them put it on. They forced them to put it on. Alright, let's get... We've got some reflectors. A couple of reflectors. And I'm going to need to put... well, I don't know if I can draw around that flat with a flat. Let me set that down for a second. I'll pick up a small round brush. Or maybe a large one. Oh, here's a little one. Okay. And we need a little bit of highlight around that in that mid-tone to make the little doodads around the light. And then we've got a little bit of highlight here and there. All right, we need some yeah, no, I didn't see that. I know that they're actually, well, I don't know if that's the reason this time. Last time that she left YouTube, she was kind of being harassed by some other artists about some of her stuff, and she takes that pretty personally. So I don't know that I wouldn't take it personally either, but it got her upset. So yeah, she talked right back, but I haven't talked to her in a while, so I'm not sure what all that's about. But all right, let's add a little bit of black up here. I mean, I don't understand. If you don't like something, just leave it alone. But evidently, somebody's been doing some. All right, now these guys are kind of odd. They're little squares. And then they have little highlights around them, so we're going to do that real quick. And then we're going to add a little bit of more other kind of highlight around that. Now, I didn't try my brush too much on this because there's a lot of paint here, so kind of I think it could probably be a little lighter than that. All right. Yeah, so I don't know, Bruce, what's up with that. It's just, I'm sorry to hear it because she's a really good teacher. Okay, I think that pretty much takes care of the wagon. All right, so it also takes care of my arm. Good Lord. So I think here's what we're going to do. We're going to let this dry. And I wonder if I could do some, you know what, I could probably do some of them. Yeah, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll tell you what I could do though. Let's do this. As long as we got this color up, these grays and these blues, let's go ahead and do some of this frame, these boards. All right, so we got like, well, I'm gonna paint with this little tiny brush. Since I got paint in it, that's what I'll do, but I'm gonna switch brushes in a second. And I'm sorry, I'm really sorry to hear that because I like Yvonne a lot. She's good people. All right, we got. So I'm just painting these in because this will allow these to set up. And why am I still painting with a tiny little brush? Oh well. How does that go? That runs. All right, we'll fix some of that in just a second. And we've got this rain is coming back over the thing, and this is actually this color too. So we're just kind of painting them. These things, it'll help it tomorrow when it's set up. It'll help to when I start to paint the horse, it'll help me to keep that all in perspective. All right, so I need now, let's get some of the darker parts in. All right, stop it with the brush. Stop complaining about the brush. Just change it. Okay. So hey, on Little Painter Girl's channel, if you guys don't follow her, you should. She's got a little drawing thing going on right now. You should check out her page. Might could get some free art books. She got some art books she wants to give away, so you guys should check that out. All right. Yeah, no, I'm not going to overdo it, Bruce. I learned that. I learned that the hard way. The first week I started doing it, they were like, "Oh, do these exercises. Do them 3 times or twice a day, I guess it was." And I was like, "Oh yeah, this is easy. I can do this 3 times a day." Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, no, I shouldn't have. Oh my Lord, I gotta. All right, I'm just painting these darks in here where they go. All right, what is this? Okay, so that part, yeah, that part. Okay. And then up here, this is all part of a dark shadow kind of saddle thing. Like that. All right, I should make that a lot easier to do tomorrow. There's a couple more darks though I could still do here real quick. There's oh, I should have done that first. I didn't though, so tough. All right, so we got there's a that's not really that color. Well, yeah, it is. So we got this piece coming across right here. And then all of this is in shadow. Oh, there's some more. Let's use this. Come here. Come. Where'd it go? Come here. We got some of this mid-tone that I missed. It comes down off of this. And then there's a bunch of horse darkness right in here. All the way up to this. All the way up to this band. Like that. This shadow. So we're not going to darken that too much. And then there's a little bit of blue right in here. And then this is all shadow. All right. Let's let that go for now. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of darkness. Just a tiny little bit of darkness right here. And I don't need to worry about the rest of it because we'll do that when we do the front. Some darkness right in this way. So now I was thinking, what do you guys think? I was thinking at 3 o'clock this morning when I couldn't sleep, I was thinking that over in this part of the sky, maybe since there's a storm rolling in there, maybe we'd put a lightning bolt in there somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, things you think about at 3 o'clock in the morning. I hope you're not thinking about them. I hope you're actually getting some sleep. All right, well, I guess that'll do it for today. At least for now. Maybe we might do something later on. Depends. I have company coming over. So we're having a quarantine movie day, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe. Keep washing your hands. One thing about oil painting, you get to wash your hands a lot. Must have washed my hands 4 dozen times yesterday. So you guys have a safe rest of your weekend, and we'll see you either later today or tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.